everyone, so happy Sunday. Welcome back to some more weekly planning. This is obviously Get Your Chic Together planning, where we get ourselves together, set ourselves up for success for the week, but we do it in a very soft and gentle way. And we have a wee cup of tea, a wee blether. We think about what we've done throughout the week, but also think about the week ahead. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to start off by applying my hand cream, which has become part of these little planning videos. Now this week is actually a L'Occitane hand cream, which is a bit different for me because, as you know, usually I use the Bien Aimé La Vie en Fleur hand cream, but I just thought, do you know what? It's December, let's try something else. So it's a cherry blossom one. I actually think I got this last December. It's a lovely smell. Oh, I love that. It's so lovely. And I think they actually do other products in this scent as well. So really good to know, because actually it is really nice indeed. So that's that. I've got my blanket here where I'm feeling all cozy. This is the blanket I got in TK Maxx last week. I'm so glad that I got this because it's really cozy indeed. I've got my tea here. I'm sorry to say I've already poured it before I came on camera, but I've got my Santa mug because I thought we're in December, we need to embrace the season, and so I've put this in here. These mugs are from TK Maxx. I actually got 2 of them and I'm actually really glad that I bought these. This was like 2 or 3 years ago and I bring them out every year, and this is my little thing for December. So I've got that. And it's the Defence tea from Marks and Spencer's. It's actually this one, the Defence one that I've got in the cup this week. So let's give ourselves a wee hug, because we've made it through the week and we're now heading into a new week. So well done for getting through the week, and let's look forward to the week ahead and set some intentions. So as you know, we have the word of the month this month, which was creativity, and I'm going to say a little bit about how I've been leaning into creativity this week. So first of all, I have been focusing a bit more on my Instagram, and I've been doing sort of quotes on there, some motivational quotes, not like hard motivation, just little like working in flow and, you know, living your soft life, that kind of thing. So I've been putting that on my Instagram and I've been enjoying doing that on Canva. I actually had a little bit of a solo date evening last night, watching TV and sitting on Pinterest, getting some ideas for quotes and then creating them on Canva. So I've got a little suite of quotes that are going to be uploaded onto my Instagram. By the way, I'm honestly not trying to gather followers on Instagram, but if you are interested in following me on Instagram, it's Elevate with Amy on Instagram as well. And like I say, no pressure to follow me on there. It's just if you want to read the quotes or you want to keep up with me on there, then you're more than welcome to do that. The other thing that I've done creativity, now I think I've probably spoke about this every week now for about a month, and I've been struggling a bit with the vlogging. I think the combination of the sort of light change in the UK, where it's just like there's so much less time in the day where there's actual daylight, and then my routines have kind of changed around that as well. Like for example, a lot of my vlogs at one point did feature me going out a morning walk in Anstruther, but I haven't been doing that. So I've kind of been beating myself up about this vlogging and thinking, oh no, like I've gained so much momentum and traction around vlogging, and I've like been trying to think, how do I do this? How do I manage it? So I hope you don't mind, but at the start of this video, I put in a 1-minute sort of summary of what my week has looked like. So you can still get a glimpse into my week, but it's not me having to sort of try and sort of fake moments, if that makes sense. It's just showing you what my week was like. So for the time being, I think that's maybe where my sort of vlogging hat will sit. Now, once we get back into spring, that might change again, but for the time being, I'm really struggling with getting the vlogs and things. And you could say, why don't you do more vlogs at home and things? But I'm not sure. Beyond having this set up here, I just feel like I don't want to be taking a camera around my house every 2 minutes. I'm not sure. So that's where I'm at with that. So that's how I've been leaning into my creativity. If you have been embracing your creativity this week and you've tried something new, or you've tried a new tool or something, please let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to hear how you're getting on with your creative month. Right, so as we always do, we've got little pillars of things that we cover, and we think about what's happened in the week, but also what's going to happen next week. So we've got my pillars. I've shuffled the pillars around this week so that if you didn't watch the whole video last week, you'll get a different pillar at the start of each one. So this week we've got finance, we've got movement and nourishment, we've got beauty, and I've got home and lifestyle. So let's start with finance. I just wanted to go over this one because this is actually quite an important one. So on the finance front, I'm going to get my wee wand, by the way, just as I'm talking to you, as I do every week now. So on the finance one, I have been on the Rakuten app this week. Now, I have noticed that Rakuten are giving 10% cash back for Jo Malone purchases. So if you spend over £50, you will get my £25 back. And then you will also get the 10% cash back from Jo Malone as well. Only thing to be careful of is you have to buy more than one item, so you couldn't just buy a candle, so it would need to be over more than one purchase. So do make use of the Rakuten app. If you sign up using my link, you will get the £25 back on anything over £50 that's more than one purchase. I cannot recommend it enough. Honestly, it's so easy, so simplistic. Because some of you also have been using my sign-up code, I'm actually getting some money back this month as a result of that, which I'm really excited about because it means I've been making a little bit of spare income from this as well. So whenever you sign up, you get £25, but I also do as well. So I'm really grateful. Thank you so much to anybody who's been doing that. It does make a difference, and any of the income that I make goes back into sort of things that I can buy for the channel, show you on the channel and things like that. So I'm really, really grateful. The other thing I was going to say about the Rakuten app is if you have been signed up to that or you've used my link, please do remember to actually use it, because it doesn't have to be on something fancy like Jo Malone. It could be used towards like a weekly grocery shop. That's how I originally used mine on my Waitrose weekly grocery shop. I did a grocery shop that cost £90 and I got £25 cash back from the app via PayPal. I didn't have to trigger it, it just came to me, and that took that weekly shop essentially down to £75. It only lasts for 3 months, so that's why I'm encouraging you, if you have signed up, do make use of it. I notice, I think there's now 2 of you who have now expired because you didn't use the link, and I don't want that to happen to anyone else, so because it's just throwing money away, so do make use of that. So that's that. Another thing I'm going to make a note of in my diary for this week, and I think I've got a day this week where I'm working from home. No, actually what I was going to say is I've got an annual leave day this week and it's towards the end of the week. So I've got my Filofax here and I want to write this down actually because this is a finance thing and it is bugging me. I think I've talked about this on the channel before, but it's to do with my Boots Advantage card. Now, I'm just putting that into my calendar to actually make a point of sorting this out once and for all, because I'm going in there every month, spending a fortune, and then I'm not getting any of the Advantage points, which is really annoying. And I think from the amount of money that I spend on Boots, I should have probably had enough points on a card to pretty much cover my Christmas shopping this year. So I need to sort that out going into 2026. So I'm going to put that in as something for my annual leave day this week to sort that out. Okay, so I think that's everything in finance. If you have made any sort of spare income this month, this week or whatever, and you want to share how you've been doing that, honestly, with an entrepreneurial mind like mine, I love to hear about things like that. So please do let me know. Right, I'm just taking a wee moment for a sip of my tea before we go on to our next pillar. And this is lovely. And if you're wondering, this jacket is a very thick cardigan jacket that I've got on today. I actually bought this when I was in Milan 2 or 3 years ago, and if you know, I've been on a bit of a health journey this year, and it's only this month where I've actually started to wear this again because it actually fits again, which is always a nice feeling, and I'm really enjoying this because it's cozy. But also I've been seeing quite a few influencers online talking about how the funnel neck is so chic this season, it's so in, and I'm like, I've got the very thing for that, so I've been wearing this. Right, shall we move on? So next one is movement and nourishment. So how are we doing with that? Are we feeling nourished? Are we getting our movement in? I'm not going to lie, I've struggled to get as many swims in as what I was doing before. I think the combination of the weather, just getting back out my car in the evening when I'm already set to go home. There was one night this week where the rain was battering off the car window and I just thought, I'm not getting back out this car, am I? So that swim didn't happen. I did go to the Fairmont on Friday night, which was rather lovely indeed, and I did have a very nice swim. I think I've been maybe 2 or 3 times this week, which does remind me that I should be ticking that, or not ticking it off, but tracking it, because I'm saying to you I've had 2 or 3 swims, but now I'm thinking, was it 2 or 3? So I should remember just to sort of keep a wee note of that. So I'm going to write in swim into my planner for this week, and then I'll tick them off so that I can actually count them for next time. I think I've got tomorrow as a definite, Wednesday is a definite swim. What other days have I got this week? And Thursday. I'm going to aim for 4 swims this week, and we'll see how we get on from there. The other thing that I've been doing when I'm at the Fairmont, which I've been really, really enjoying, this actually came from an idea from Instagram actually. I've been seeing these girls, women, on these kind of boards that are kind of like a vibration board, and they're like wobbling, it's like that. And I'm thinking, why are they doing that? And I think it's to do with lymphatic drainage. Now, anything I say, also just keep in mind, I'm not a healthcare or a medical professional, but I think it's to do with lymphatic drainage. And I thought to myself, I'm not buying myself a board because I've just got the very idea of how I can also do that. And it's actually making use of the jacuzzi. And if you make sure to sit in certain spots in the jacuzzi, you can actually get your skin to just wobble like that as well. So I've been really enjoying leaning into that. Also enjoying using the sauna as well. I feel like it's making the biggest difference to my skin. I'm just so enjoying that. And see, getting that heat on your lower back, oh, it's absolutely divine. So I'm really, really enjoying that. I also tried this week to get booked into some of the yoga classes at the Fairmont. I'm going to have a wee sip of my tea. But I think they were fully booked. They're actually quite small classes, which I didn't fully know or fully appreciate. So it is something I would like to try. I think just doing something that's a bit more community based and maybe leaning into being in more like around people a bit more would be quite nice as well. So I'll try and maybe fit that in this week, or maybe even going into next week, and certainly have it on my radar for going into January. So it's just good to know, because they did have a nice suite of different yoga classes and like all the different ones. The other thing that they had was like some of the things in the water, like aqua zumba, and I think it was aqua something else, aqua aerobics. And I thought I would probably quite like that. I thought that'd be quite good fun. So I'm going to have a little bit more of a look into the classes and see if there's anything I can book up for the week ahead. Right, what else? Right, I'm talking a little bit about food and nourishment. So this week you will have just seen that on my little weekly glimpse into my week. I did go to 5 Acres again this week. So if you've never watched my videos before, 5 Acres is this fantastic cafe in St Andrews. They do fresh produce from the East Neuk of Fife. Everything seems to be vegetarian, so I'm assuming it's vegetarian because I've never had meat in there, but some things do have cheese, so I think it's just vegetarian. They do the most amazing salads, and I just feel like it's a really good way to nourish myself, have a salad midweek without having to go and buy all of those ingredients myself, because let's face it, when you live on your own, a lot of fresh ingredients like that do go to waste because you can just never get through them quick enough. So I've been really enjoying going to 5 Acres. They do the lunch box that I showed you in my vlog at the start, or my video at the start. It's $9.50, so it's quite a lot for a lunch, but I think doing that once a week, if you can stretch it to twice a week, I think it's a really good thing to do, especially for just overall nourishment. So that's that. Other things, I'm just thinking about what I've got in my own sort of fridge for nourishment this week. I've got an avocado in the fridge, so I'll probably have avocado with eggs on toast. I really like that. I've just got the Marks and Spencer's eggs, but I'm hoping to get more of the ones from the stock kitchen next week because they are absolutely delicious. Love those. Also really enjoying organic almonds from Marks and Spencer's as well. So I've just been kind of having a wee handful of them here and there. This is like a food find, so I've got my pen here and I've got my wand here, but the other food find that I've had this year is the cottage cheese. Like, I absolutely love that. And most days now, if I'm in the office, I take my rice crackers, or kind of like, not rice crackers, they're more like a Ryvita cracker, take those, but it's a bit of cottage cheese on top and then some honey over the top of that, and oh my goodness, it's absolutely delicious. I really like the simplicity of it as well, because it's healthy, but it's also filling, and it's also very easy to transport that around. I always just have the crackers now in my bag. I usually just keep the honey in my bag, and then I just put the cottage cheese in the fridge at work, and that's me sort of sorted for lunches if I'm not at 5 acres. So that's a really good one. The other thing I'm thinking about food and nourishment wise is I've got quite a few things in my freezer that I would like to use up before the new year. So I have got a lot of frozen veg from Waitrose, but not necessarily the frozen veg from Waitrose that I like. So I need to get that eaten up so that when the new year comes, I'll do another Waitrose order. Now, I'm not withholding buying my food shop, by the way. It's just that I actually did find, you probably remember if you've watched my videos for a while, I was doing Waitrose shops regularly, and I don't find that necessarily works for me. I think the best way of shopping for me is doing a Waitrose shop maybe like once every 1 to 2 months, and getting my freezer stocked up, getting my pantry stocked up with like things that I like from there. But when it comes to like my fresh daily things like my eggs and things like that, I like to either get them down at Bow House, or I like to also go to Marks and Spencer's as well. So I just kind of like to get the freezer cleared up, used up anything that's in there, so that when January comes, I can then do a Waitrose order and just stock up again. So that's me on food and nourishment. I will say I'm feeling very, very healthy and well, and I do think that part of that is because I've been nourishing myself a lot more this year. I do think, I talked about this last week, and I'm going to write this in actually, just to remind myself about this, and it's just keeping my water intake up, because I do find that that does slip. And I think, again, goodness, I sound like I'm totally moaning about winter, but things do get tougher in the winter, and I think just with it being cold, like filling up my Stanley cup with cold water and guzzling it, it's just, oh, it's just hard. So if I struggle with that and I'm finding that I don't want to do that, I do try and fill up big mugs like this one of a herbal tea, and that at least gives me some kind of like healthy hydration. So that's me for movement and nourishment. If you are nourishing yourself in a specific way, or you're eating a healthy meal that you think everybody's going to really enjoy, please leave that in the comments below. Also, I would really like to know if you're trying any specific movement as well. I'm really into my swimming. I love swimming for so many reasons. But if there's a specific movement that you like, I'd like to hear about that as well. Right, what else is happening? Beauty, we're on to now. Right, before we go on to our next pillar, let's just take a wee minute to have a wee breather. I think by the end of this one, I might actually have finished the whole cup of tea. Oh my goodness. It's very nice. That it's just got I think I told you this last week, but it has a citrus in it, so it gives it this really nice sweetness. It's lovely. Righty, let's get on to beauty. I've had a great week in beauty, I have to say. Blimey, these, the Biodance face masks, I was moaning about these last week because when I put it on last week, I found it a wee bit slimy and it was all like, ugh. I think I just didn't handle it right in the beginning, so it was all floppy, which was a horrible thought. This morning, I put this on. I just had it, well, I had it on my face whilst I was having my morning coffee. And if I do say so myself, I do think my skin has got a nice glow to it, and I'm giving at least some of the credit to the Biodance mask. Now, if you weren't around last week, just to give you the sort of context of the background to these are available from Amazon. I got them in a pack of 4, I think is in a pack. They're around about £10, thereabouts. And I have to say, for that price point, I'm really, really impressed with these. I think these would make a fantastic like Secret Santa gift, or if you just want a wee stocking filler for someone or something like that. These are very good. So hopefully now I can lean into the face mask thing a bit more, because I wasn't loving it last week. What was the other thing I was going to say about that? Face mask. Amy, think, what was the thought you were going to have on that? Oh yes, that's what I was going to say, was that it does dry into the skin. So once you've had it on your face, you put it on and it's white, but it actually eventually starts to go clear and it kind of crisps onto the face, which for me is good because it makes it more comfortable, because it stops the kind of sliding around. So really enjoying these. Like I say, they're available from Amazon and you get them in a pack. Next, this week, I got this which is the Marvis toothpaste. This one is the pink one, and it's the Sensitive Gums one. I'll be honest, I bought the pink one because it was pink. I didn't buy it for sensitive gums or anything like that. Really enjoying that. So glad to have that back in the bathroom again, and a really nice purchase. I also got this on Amazon as well. I think it's about $9.99. So really glad to have that back as well. Right. I don't know if you're bored of hearing me talking about this, but I just have to say it because I just think it's possibly one of the best beauty products that I think has ever come about or has ever existed. And I've got it on my face right now, and it's the Victoria Beckham foundation. I feel like I talk about it in every video now, but as you can see, like, my skin is just so dewy looking, and not in that's like, I've had foundations and products in the past that give you the dewiness but also a cakiness at the same time. That foundation, I know it's expensive, but if you can try and work that into your budget, you will not be disappointed. I promise you, it's an absolute incredible product. So I've had it for a few weeks now, so it's not a new thing, but every time I put it on, I'm just in awe. I'm like, I can't believe this is my face. It's just crazy. And I've said this part before as well, is that every time I look at my face, once I've got it on, I think to myself, I look like I've had Botox. So I'm just like, and I've not, and as I said last week, I'm repeating myself here. No judgment if you have, because to be honest with you, I'll probably get to a point in my life where I'll at least consider it. So it's not a judgment thing. It's just that I can't believe I've been able to buy a product that I feel mimics the look of that. So still loving that very much indeed. Right, the next thing, I need to actually mark this next thing into my diary for this week. So it's going to be in the middle of the week. I'm writing it in before I tell you what it is. I need to get my nails done so bad, like so bad. I feel like I've got a half and half of, like, you can't actually see it that much on camera, but it's like half of my own nail, half of the back. It's just not good. It's not a good look. So the reason I've prolonged this so long is because the lovely wax bar in St Andrews is closed for refurbishment. I'm so excited to see what it actually looks like once they have the refurb, because it's probably been needing an update, let's just be honest about it. So I'm really excited for for me, but also for the staff and everything that works there as well. I think it's just lovely to have a refresh. So the nails will be getting done midweek this week. The other thing, I think, as I said, I think I've got an annual leave day this week, and I have been in two minds. I'm like, should I just book myself in for a wee massage? I feel like I've not had a massage since I was at North Berwick in the summer, so we're now middle of winter, which is almost 6 months later. I'm going to write that down with a question mark next to it of just whether I'm going to do that or not. The reason I was thinking about that is I just think it's a nice thing to do at this time of year for yourself, but also I did notice there was a specific place in Leven that have a little offer on at the moment. And I thought, do I lean into that and just go for a massage when I'm off at the end of this week? We'll see. So I've put it in here with a question mark. If you've had any massages recently, or you've treated yourself to any beauty treatments or any beauty products, please let me know what you've been treating yourself to. If you found any like holy grail beauty products, do write them down. We need to share so that we're not spending our money on things that we don't need to be spending it on. So do let us know what you've been using. The other thing I'm just going to say, because this showed up in my video last week, but I just want to reaffirm that I've been, one, using this, and two, really enjoying it, and it's the dry brushing. And I've been watching quite a lot of videos this week of just how to do it, just that sort of upward motion of getting the dry brush out before you get into the shower. Really enjoying that. I just honestly see, like, leaning into these rituals this year, I just think it's made the biggest difference to like my overall sense of self, how I feel about myself, how like my confidence in my own body and everything. And I know I'm talking about the fact that the foundation has done a massive thing for my skin, but I just think that because I've really cultivated a lot of like healthier habits of like being in the sauna, going for a swim, doing like my exfoliation all over my body, putting my lotions on, now doing the dry brushing and all of these things, like I just feel like I'm literally starting to glow from like the inside outwards. And I'm just so excited for 2026 because I feel like I've just kind of laid like amazing foundations for the year ahead sort of thing. So dry brushing, I would really recommend it. I think it's a lovely thing to add into your sort of daily routine, just doing upward brushing, upward motions, and it helps with exfoliation, but it also helps with the lymphatic drainage as well. So really, really enjoying that. So that just leaves us to our final pillar. So I'm going to have another wee sip of tea before we move on to our next pillar. And I'm just thinking if there's anything else that I wanted to add into the diary for this week. Maybe not. That was very good. So good. Right, so our final pillar is home and lifestyle. Well done if you've made it this far, because we're now 25 minutes in. So good. This week is going to be a Bow House Market week, and it's actually the Christmas Market week. And not only that, they are actually open the Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So I fully anticipate it's going to be a really, really busy few days at Bow House. So I'm going to write that into my Filofax for this week. What I will say is, because it's going to be busy, I'm not a big fan of being in amongst crowds. I get very overwhelmed very quickly, very introverted person, and so I'll probably be there very early so that I can leave quite early. So I'm going to write that in. I'm not sure if I'm going to make the 2 days. I found in the past when I stretch it out to the 2 days, I find that the second day just feels like too much for me, but I'll put it in my diary and then I'll just see how I feel. There's no pressure to go both days, or even the third day as well, which would be the Friday. So when I'm at Bow House, what I do want to get, I'm going to write this wee list into the Filofax, is I want to get eggs at the Stocks Kitchen. Those eggs are absolutely incredible. I think they're like the best eggs I've ever had. So I want to get those. Also would really like to go to the tea shop as well, or House of Brig, I think it's called. And I would like to get more of the valerian root sleep tea. I've got to the end of that this week, and I have to say, be very careful if you do want to embrace valerian root tea, because it's very strong and quite potent. So please consult with your medical professional before using something like a valerian root tea, because it's not for everybody. But I want to get more of that because it does help with my sleep. So that. But the other thing I want to get at Bow House is one of those tea lollipops, so that when we do our full monthly planning, I've got a nice tea lollipop to share with you on that one. So I'm going to write that down as well. So that's that. Other things in the home and lifestyle, I have treated myself this week to some candles, which I'm very, very excited about. It's actually by the brand Jo Loves. Now, if you don't know, Jo Loves is actually Jo Malone, the person, and when she sold Jo Malone, the brand, to Estee Lauder, she set up her own brand called Jo Loves. Honestly, her products are incredible. So I'm really excited to get the candles. What I really like about the candles are they're coming in a set of 4, so it's a pack of 4 Christmas candles. There was like plum, salted caramel, I think roasted chestnut, and something else. And as I said a few weeks ago, I would quite like to get a Christmas candle, but I think getting a wee selection in a box like that where I can plot them around the house, that will be lovely. So I'm looking forward to that this week. The other thing I'm getting this week, just keeping in my cosy vibe, is a new dressing gown, or a goonie, some people call it. I'm trying to think what other things people call it, a robe. I've treated myself to a Marks and Spencer's autograph robe, much needed. I'm really looking forward to getting that, so that will give me a nice cozy hug feeling and getting in that spa vibe as well. So I do need to actually remember that, because I'm going to put that in the Filofax, because it's from M&S, so I need to pick that up on a certain day, so I'm going to put that on here as well. What else has been happening? So 2 other things I just want to talk about. First of all, I've been really enjoying watching Broadchurch on Netflix. Now, I will say it's a bit of a murder mystery thing, so maybe it's not the cheeriest thing if you're getting into that Christmas mode. It's not scary, because honestly, you could say boo to a ghost to me and I'd be like, whoa, like jumping out my skin. I didn't find it scary. I just was really intrigued to see who the murderer was in that. So really enjoyed that. If you want an easy watch, a good story, I've been enjoying Broadchurch. Also, never seen anything with David Tennant in it before. Never understood the fuss about him when he was in Doctor Who, because I've never watched Doctor Who, but now I'm like, now I see why there's a bit of a fuss around him. So anyway, I've been enjoying that. So that's that. Finally, I've got something very exciting to share. I'm going to unpack this on camera. If you have been around on this channel for a while, you will know that over the summer, I feel like I'm repeating the same stories over and over here. Over the summer, I left my book on the back of the plane and I've never replaced it until this week. So this week, I treated myself to The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. This is a fantastic book. I was about halfway through it when I left it on the plane. And this, honestly, if you're a creative person or you know somebody who's creative, this would be a fantastic gift for yourself or someone else. I think it's actually quite a good gift if you're struggling to get something for a man, actually, as well. So good. Now, I didn't get the hardback copy because they didn't have any hardbacks, so I just went with the paperback one. And it leads me in nicely to just end off the video because I'm going to write this down. Just as I had a wee glimpse at it the other day, I did notice there was a lovely quote right at the beginning, and I thought this could be our quote of the week. So the quote is, "The object isn't to make art, it's to be in that wonderful state which art makes." I've said it wrong. Let me just read it again right. "The object isn't to make art, it's to be in that wonderful state which makes art inevitable." There we are. Sorry about that. And here's the quote here. I don't know if you can see it or not. There we are. So I'm going to write that into my Filofax and lean into that this week. Hopefully I can get through a few chapters of this afternoon. I've got a wee bit of work to do on Canva and obviously editing like my videos and things, but I'm going to watch some more Broadchurch and I'm hopefully going to read a bit more of that as well. So that's my plans, that's my intentions for the week. I hope you've all had a great week and I hope you have a great week ahead, and I will see you next week. So big hugs and I will see you in the next one.